Yeah, they got this deal over there. Around Halloween, it was a motherfucker actually clanging steel together all night trying to get me off the property. I went for a walk and I looked for him because I was playing Phantom Lord on loop all that day. And crushing metal strikes on this frightening night. I think that's what they mean by Halloween. Yeah, it was rough. I mean, you found me, and I'm going to do these episodes, and you're going to mind your business, piece of shit. If you want to take a Xanax, be my guest. If you got any extra, give me some. I took an olanzapine, actually, so I feel good. But, I had some spare olanzapine. I don't like the other shit. It fucks with my dick. The olanzapine with Prozac? No. That, I can't. I loved Prozac, but, dude, I would rather be depressed and have my dick work. But what was I saying? Yeah, this past, I just gotta, I have in the past year, what I learned? I don't know if I can put it into words, but I sure learned a lot. And that ain't none of your business. You don't get credit for that. I learned a lot about pain. I learned a whole lot about pain. Yeah, you think it's a fucking joke. And whether or not it's real or not, even if I was totally schizo and shit, you should be sympathetic to that because the horror is very real. If you ever seen a schizo that's in a terrified, even semi-catatonic condition, you're in a lot of pain, aren't you? You know what I'm saying? You're totally safe. I see you in this space. Why the fuck are you? What's going on with you? Huh? Do you feel all right? Yeah, you should respect that. I don't get like that. I get like that because some like it hot and they like to turn up the heat till you fucking fry. And that's just the way it goes. And I'm sick of telling you this. Just don't ask me again. When I tell you that they like to turn up the heat till you fucking fry, just accept it next time and say, okay. Because they do. I was able to listen to my Slayer records on repeat that night. They did it for 7 fucking hours out front of the house. And when they found me, they just found me with my headphones on, my sunglasses on, smoking cigars of all things. Yeah, someone wasn't in their right mind. I mean, you know what I mean? And it wasn't even, I didn't even do any of that. But all these other people, that's beautiful. I always get their shit afterward. Like fireplaces. Yeah, it's extremely symbolic. I grew up in a house where in an old Victorian house where there was no heat whatsoever, except for the living room. It was a 3-story old Victorian job with a wraparound porch. And it was beautiful to look at from the outside, but it was a money trap. And it was freezing fucking brick cold. The toilet bowls used to freeze water. After my mother left, that's what it turned into. And we used to all live in there. But the only thing that my sister moved upstairs and the heat worked up there for some reason. But me and my father used to just sit around the fireplace. And he would order cords and cords and cords of wood. And we would just shovel wood into this old Victorian fireplace. And God, I mean, we couldn't get a much bigger fire, and you'd get 5 feet away and you'd be freezing fucking cold still. I remember sleeping next to a fire many fucking nights, especially with Sue. I remember cooking my breakfast, her bringing me breakfast, eggs and shit, and cooking them on top of the old, and then by that point we got a cast iron one too, to sit in front of it so we'd have 2 fires. Yeah, that's how cold it was, homie. We'd have one fireplace and another cast iron one, and upstairs I remember writing songs choked out on kerosene fumes. And I could say it now because it was 30 years ago. But yeah, that's what it was like in these upstate winters. I remember writing all these songs. When I think about these old songs, it's fucked up. I mean, I really do. I hear certain things, and when I listen to old Miserables music or the Erotics or certain, I smell kerosene sometimes. It really brings me back in a fucked up way. Or if I listen to any bands I was with at that time or certain other albums, I'll smell kerosene. When I think about all these other bands I was in too, where I used to bring my kerosene heater to play, because you're a guitar player and you got to use your fingers. We'd be in somebody's fucking garage, and yeah, and I remember buying kerosene for $5.25 at the Hess, and $10 full that would fill a whole minivan worth of gas. But yeah, I remember fucking Sue, and I remember getting her pregnant right in front of that fucking heater. And it was great, man. It was fucking great. That because the cold weather makes you want to touch. It makes you want to hug. If you're there with your girl or your wife or something, you just want to hug her, don't you? Or your kids, you just want to hug them to get body warmth. I remember just drinking peppermint schnapps. One of the best holidays I had. It didn't mean shit to her. My girl was Jewish. She didn't understand, but and that's why I was so glad to have her. She was there every New Year, every Christmas, just smiling, hi dada, fucking little punk rock Sue. And I remember just drinking peppermint schnapps sitting in front of a fireplace. And my father would marvel at it. We'd get the thing blowing fire out the front, and soot would get in front of the bricks, and he'd be like, now that's a fucking fire, he'd say. And we learned how to worship fire. Yeah, that's. And when I drive past that house, I smell kerosene. The one of the last times 2.5 years ago, when I drove by, I got a whiff of kerosene. I thought of a lot of things. It doesn't even look the same anymore. They modernized it. But yeah, the fireplace. That's what it reminds me of. Just how good a pussy feels. That was that one episode I did too. I remember fucking, just fucking this girl in front of the fire, and her wet pussy on my dick. Every time I pulled my dick out, it would feel cold, ice cold, because the cold air would on your wet dick. And that's the memories I have. Just like fucking this girl. Like, wow, her pussy's hot and it's wet. When you fuck in the absolute cold like that, it heightens your senses. It puts a whole new paint job on shit. And what it's like to spunk on a 16-year-old ass when it's like 10 degrees out. All your cable is stolen. All your entertainment is bootleg. You know, back in the 90s, you couldn't afford to go to the movies, so you would get a videotape that someone taped sitting at the back of the movie, a bootleg, with a camera, and sold it on the street, and you'd fuck to that. You know? Those were the days, man. It really meant, I think it's better in life when you're hungry and you're cold and things come out better.